they've also shown a lot of similarities in their results coming into the open qualifiers and then into the bracket that we've so set in front of you all. But it does come down to quite a number of factors, obviously, but on the day performance will always trump any kind of prep that you can get done, if I'm being completely honest. And it does put a lot of pressure on the teams. One thing, of course, to note, best of 3, Raven. That means 3 maps. Where do you think we're heading?
I mean, they've both performed well on Consulate today, so I'm feeling like Consulate is going to make another appearance. Coastline, I don't think so. I don't think it suits PC419 at all. In fact, I think that will potentially be their ban. And then maybe Villa will be a ban for ROFLCOPTER because it seems PC419 are somewhat decent on Villa. So that does leave Theme Park open. So maybe a cheeky Theme Park might come out. I can see PC419 played it once in LPL Pro. Who knows?
Look, I think there's only one way to know. And that's to bring up the videos. Let's go through them. Let's speed on. Oh, wow. Oregon off early. That one really interests me. The fact that that's been taken out so early. Theme Park obviously leaves Consulate in and Cafe, which has been picked. I'm looking at the Cafe stats. Only one map between the two of them that we've been able to see. Coastline is our third and final deciding map there. Raven, how has this played out? Are you happy with where we're headed?
I mean, Consulate, pretty expected, but surprised about Coastline in particular being the decider. I just honestly think that favors ROFLCOPTER significantly over PC419, just based on the playstyle differences. So if I'm PC419, they've got to lock out map number 1, and they've got to be able to swing map number 2 to take this 2-0. Otherwise, I'm thinking it's going to be ROFLCOPTER. That being said, like you said, Cafe only played once between these two, at least in LPL stats. That was PC419, and they did get the victory on it. It was against Dance. It was 7-2. Honestly, it was a strong performance. So,
and I find it interesting. Sorry to completely cut you off there. I do find it interesting as well that it was PC419 that have played it, and yet we see ROFLCOPTER taking us there. And Consulate. Now, Consulate is very, very interesting, and I'll tell you exactly why. It's picked by PC419. But guess what the result was when they versed each other?
Well, I'm not going to guess because I have it in front of me.
A 7-1 loss. A 7-1 loss. Unreal. This could be quite a kink in the storyline for all of us here. It is going to be PC419 and ROFLCOPTER both playing off for their spot at the OCN Nationals. OCN 2021 season, and to kick it off with a bang, it's on Consulate.
I'm excited for this because, it's an interesting little stat that you brought up. The 7-1 loss could be a little bit of a bait here. On top of that, they played it earlier against Ferox. They showed their potential on the map. ROFLCOPTER would have seen that. On top of the fact, ROFLCOPTER did just the same with Rhythm. So both of these teams have pretty much seen each other's cards on this map, so to speak.
That is actually a great point, obviously, to note, is that now this map is completely open for both of these teams in terms of full knowledge. I'm sure in the upper bracket, you're not going to try and hold on strats for the lower bracket because that pretty much nullifies everything you're trying to do. So let us sit down, relax, and unfold and unpack what could be a PC419 map. I'm really intrigued to see what has changed for PC419 since that regular season, because interestingly enough, that game was actually played a month ago today. On the 21st of October, ROFLCOPTER beat PC419 7-1 on Consulate. So let's take that into this match with the knowledge of a month's turnaround and see what comes out. Valkyrie and Maestro being banned. Unfortunately, no Valkyrie for today's matchup on Consulate.
No, but also the other map in the map pool where I would say Valkyrie is predominantly banned. So Coastline being one, Consulate being the other. Often Valkyrie cameras being outside facilitates some of those jump outs, run outs, makes it hard to repel on the windows, which is a really important part of Consulate attacking in general. So get rid of that. It means you don't have to bring IQ in your attack lineup. does give you that freedom.
So straight to lobby. No messing about whatsoever. Basement, I think, is where we started. Yes, it is, against that game against Rhythm in the first map of the series prior. So, ROFLCOPTER not opting to continue that fashion. And I dare say that the first couple of rounds, I'm going to say, might actually be a little bit messy. And for me, I hope that they are. Makes things a little bit more interesting and a little bit more fun.
Yeah, well, this is a real fight. Again, to really place the stakes here for everybody. The loser of this, they do no longer get to fight for a spot in OCN. And that means they missed out on our top national program for 12 months. So this is a big deal between these two teams. They have gone through an open qualifier bracket against each other. They made it to this tournament. They did not manage to secure a win in their opening matches today. So here they are. One last chance to stay in this race.
And it's what it feels like, isn't it? A race, and not necessarily a sprint across all of the best threes you have to play. It is quite literally a marathon, especially when you consider the open qualifiers both of these teams had to play through just to get to here. So the fact that they are here, obviously, is a triumph in itself. Either team will take that away with high stead, though, if they can't manage to fight their way through this lower bracket. They will be putting pressure on that admin side. Nice and early here. Steffi T looking for the early contact. Not going to be given anything just yet.
Yeah, really wasting no time to put pressure in through meeting. When we saw this held, oh my gosh, there's Tesla with the opening kill there. And OJ, he's under a lot of pressure early. And what I was going to say is when we saw this played, just before by ROFLCOPTER against Rhythm, OJ was just so tough to flush out a meeting. I think that's going to be a key difference here for PC419. They need to be able to deal with that. And there you go. He's gone. 90 seconds cleared out.
Wasting no further time now. They have the, I was going to say, almost the top floor control completely. Deptra, unspotted. Unspotted. Could Deptra completely dismantle PC419? Surely there's absolutely no way they expect him here. Oh my God. Is that a potato or is that a potato? Shaq still manages to give him a free kill there, but whoa, that's a very strange start to the opening couple of engagements.
Yeah, and look, they're just hunting for him, face checking almost with that Gemini, but he does shoot the Gemini first, not the player aggressing from connector. Deptra still able to sit over at this desk. Oh my gosh, like the time that he is burning. Now he's getting a magnet out, not going to be possible. The frag grenade will get him in the end. Only 30 seconds left though. It's going to be a little tough to get this execute happening here if you're PC419.
That ADS as well may have just helped OJ in a major way there. That nade was coming right down on top of him. Jay will be able to sit back and waste some time here. Unfortunately, not being able to get that smoke grenade right through. It's going to be Pun who's going to stick this now. Vlad will stop any thought of Rigba trying to deny. A good first round from PC419. And definitely setting the stakes nice and early.
Yeah, a good pace, and I just think it's really good that they've been able to come out and make a bit of a statement. They look confident, swift, decisive, great opening picks there, and it's important to have that against ROFLCOPTER, who are potentially still reeling a little bit from their Rhythm series. And this is kind of what I was saying earlier, is I feel like this is going to come down a lot to how ROFLCOPTER have dealt already with that series that they just lost to Rhythm.
Undoubtedly, a lot of the conversation that we've had early on in this piece, and even toward the end of that last match, the conversation was around, obviously, how tired the loser was. You know, not tired physically, more so just the mental side of it, coming out of the best of three, that when you look back at the game, maybe the results don't look that close, but both Clubhouse and Coastline had the opportunity for ROFLCOPTER to kind of take and run away with. And not only would it have been draining mentally, but emotionally, you could only imagine the ride that they were being taken on. Drex with that 2 versus 4 clutch. You know, you look back at the last couple of rounds that they fought, 5 straight Rhythm were able to successfully take, and it just reiterates again the pressure that ROFLCOPTER would be feeling in this point. Now, CEO hold for round number 2.
Ribbons. Waiting patiently for a rotate there to be made by somebody, but didn't happen. Dropped the hatch instead. And Deptra is finally making that rotate. Lucky, because that could have really come against you. Sometimes those late setup things, if a team has spotted that, they will pounce. They will go straight for it. Speaking of going straight for it, again, Shaq has just got such quick entry into admin. Boydie's just on the other side of this wall. Surely he saw. He did. Shaq has not been able to get these shots. He's been taken low. And Boydie is going to come out on top there. Really insane pace there from Shaq. Maybe a little careless. Didn't see a drone. And, of course, no teammate to back it up. So ROFLCOPTER will come out on top with an advantage nice and early.
Well, Roffle will take their first step in what will be, as we said before, a marathon. Opening up now, Deptra with the line directly out com window there. Players on meeting balcony, only one of them in fact. Boydie not going to be received at all well. Slow and steady wins the race here. PC419 have taken control of the admin side of the map, but OJ is getting absolutely trounced right now. Has the ability to fall back, and he'll do just that.
Yeah, good flush out, and has still got quite a bit of time to be able to work this, to be able to execute into the meeting. Already still to be flushed out of Connector, and of course Rigba over there in the private bathroom. Pretty important position to clear out as well if you actually are going to try and get that plant down in meeting. But the time is there, 55 seconds. A couple of players taken lower in HP on the ROFLCOPTER side. It's up to PC419 to not get bullied and stalled out, but bullied is Campo, or bullying is Campo. Takes out Vlad, so right now this is looking like a pretty good round potentially for ROFLCOPTER, but Steffi has just jumped straight into meeting here.
Not going to be able to convert that long shot. However, it's Deptra that is really just standing up as a brick wall, almost a 3-piece to finish out the round. All 5 left alive, and that is the response you would want if you are ROFLCOPTER right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The response that you want, because, yeah, lobby press did not really go that well for them. They've brought it back 1-1. You can kind of negate the effects of that first round. Move on. They're going to go garage first. Or not first. They're going to go garage next, I should say. See if they can continue this score streak.
The vigil on Rigba, which we saw in that first matchup against Rhythm. Kind of caught them off, not off guard necessarily, but just made them really face check almost every part on that admin side. Both second floor and first floor set up at the moment. If it's similar to what we had seen in the prior 2 mirrors facing a large basement wall with the right side left soft. So, I mean, I'd love to see if that is still the case. Plenty of setup upstairs to ensure Rigba can really be quite a nuisance. And Boydie, that's a nice drone to catch out.
5 seconds remaining. Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
Reloading!
So frustrating. It's so frustrating when you have a player who's willing to be that mobile and obviously a team to facilitate that. What have you seen, Raven? I saw a big old open eye look from you. What? Okay. Oh. Okay. Beautiful. We love to hear that. I'm not sure whether they can even hear you right now, but I can definitely hear you, so that's all good. We're going to continue on with this round regardless of where Raven is. With
Sweet.
quite a normal amount of ease, PC419 the top floor. Rigba being forced to back away into the open arms of Steffi. Oh, Broidy! You love to see that kind of contact. Raven, can we hear you? That's the question.
I'm pretty confident you can hear me, so I'm just going to start talking. Look, it's good that Rigba has been taken off first, because we were talking about the potential effects of that vigil and how it can affect droning. He did burn a bit of time, but it wasn't really that effective given they didn't really trade it out. So this is vertical play and vertical control given PC419 at a pretty good time of the round here, and Steffi is just going to start opening up a lot of line of sights as well as that sledge coming along here. It's going to make it really hard to be sitting in garage and even able to rotate to deny plant. So this is looking like a good attack from PC419.
50 seconds to play with. I would say they've got pretty much all their ducks in a line or in order, however you want to say it. Will he be able to connect the nade? No. And in fact, it won't actually do any damage. It looks like that deployable shield was actually still remaining on pipes. So something that they're going to have to be cautious of here. They're forcing the players back. Deptra looking for that long, aggressive angle. He might be given a free kill. There it comes. And Pun. The warning shots have come out at the very least.
Yeah, but now, not much time. Pun tries to plant, but the smoke is there. It's denied. And now Steffi, he's trying to plant, but he's getting taken low. Flank from Shaq is going to enable maybe that Steffi can get this plant down again. But no, they're fighting back here. 2v2 as clock hits 0, and it's pulled up by PC419. ROFLCOPTER do manage to secure that round.
I mean, I wonder if that C4 was going to have any impact or not. It looked like that was the vertical line that connected in the end. And once again, ROFLCOPTER's ability to claw back from whether it be round deficits or player deficits, it's been highlighted in their match against Rhythm. And again, PC419. They fall down the player early. The vigil that had burnt through so much time and energy in their previous matchup, they still managed to hold on for dear life all through the bumpy ride, the vertical lines. PC419 are not being given anything for free here. Just a reminder, this is their map pick.
Yeah, and also I think we agreed, at least I was pretty confident, that this is really their win condition. I mean, that should be obvious, right? It's their map pick. But I'm going to say I really am confident that if PC419 are going to take this series, they have to take it 2-0. I think if it goes to that third map coastline, I'm pretty confident that's favoring ROFLCOPTER. And I would be pretty confident to just say that if it goes to map 3, it's just ROFLCOPTER's. Happy to be wrong, but I really feel like this is PC419's win condition, so they cannot let this map slip.
I would definitely say that coastline, for me, favours ROFLCOPTER heavily, and Cafe that was picked by I mean, I would be very interested to see what they've got prepared on Cafe for us, considering we have not seen that at all from them. And sometimes that's the best kind of surprise, to be honest. The one that ROFLCOPTER may just turn the tide in what would be a second map and potentially have it done in 2. Almost be home for dinner in time.
Something like that. Here we are on the off off-site pick here, off-meta pick, whatever you want to call it. Teller's Archives. Not picked that frequently, but becoming more frequently because console and meeting is starting to fall away. Didn't work out that well for ROFLCOPTER from memory in Series 1. Actually, now that I say it, I don't remember. I feel like it didn't go that well, but we'll see how PC419 go with attacking it right now because they're taking quite a lot of time to obtain vertical control, which I think is a pretty big, serious win condition on this site. Is you need to have this vertical control quite quickly to be able to give you to fight for tellers. And if you don't have this quick enough, when you fight for tellers, or all that denial, C4s, etc., that starts to stack up against you. And the pulse of Campo will come back to bite you if you do not give yourself enough time to fight hard in tellers.
Oh, see you later. That's going to be a free C4. See ya, Steffi. Can't stand still when Campo's on the pulse. Always looking for the opening. And just in that fashion now, ROFLCOPTER do have the advantage. Still plenty of C4s on the board as well to deny. Shaq's gone straight down Visa stairs and we'll find Rigba looking the other way. Fair enough.
Oh, and Vlad's going to find Deptra as well. So that's a solid 1-man advantage. Can't count, apparently. But in 40 seconds, they're going to have to get rid of this castle and actually push through to Tellers. OJ is still just hanging out here all by himself in Tellers. He sees multiple of them coming past. The warning shots aren't enough. Tesla does not get out of the way. Shaq's just found his double. OJ is fighting for his life in Tellers. It doesn't happen as the rest of his teammates fall around him. PC419, they answer back. They keep this tight at 2-2.
I mean, Shaq, right, surely has to be quite a pivotal player in that round. 3 kills, one of the opening, just waltzing on down Visa stairs, comes back up and really finding the kills and the picks when they matter. I do, alright, I'll completely say, I actually like that we've seen Roffle attempt every single bomb site now. And I think that it certainly shows that they're confident to do so. And so the last 2 rounds, I think, will be a little bit more up in the air for PC419 in terms of any kind of prediction they could make. But at the end of the day, Raven, it's 2 apiece. So no matter how much I love the confidence, how much I love the mentality, you still need to convert. And yeah, PC419 had a bit of a tough time on the CEO defense of last. It was the only flawless round we've seen so far in this map.
Yeah, it was not great last attempt. So let's see what they can do this time. Their pace has been pretty decent. I mean, from memory, this was the round where Shaq just yeeted in through that south window into admin, tried to push straight to the mirror. But you know how a mirror works, right? If there's a player there, they see you coming. And Boydie was ready for it. So they can play that a little more tactfully. I mean, there's no mirror this time, for one. That's better. But I think if they can play their entry a little more tactfully, they've got the pace and the confidence to be able to keep it going. They might be able to challenge it much better. Oh.
I think had you given Boydie about 3 extra seconds notice there, that might have been on the money. And Shaq has just been so unrelenting with his timing here. Nearly every single time we've seen Shaq in the building before 2 minutes 30. So clearly quite confident in spearheading a lot of the attacks for PC419.
A little bit dangerous doing the old self-drone entry. Not sure whether there was another drone on the other side regardless to help him. There is a player creeping around down below. It's Deptra. He just got droned out actually by Steffi's drone. So he's going to drop the hatch through to Archives and start to run away. And now look, this could work out really well for ROFLCOPTER. If PC419 decide, hey, we need to try and cut this out or push this guy, that can delay time. And Deptra is just rotating back towards yellow, probably going to try to come up yellow and just get back to site. So that time delay could be effective. But other than that, PC419 have made great time.
Deptra will still just be a nuisance down in the basement, coming back up to that first floor. Plenty of time to rotate up. You can see just on the edge of Spiral, there's a drone. Very hard to spot there. Deptra's walking past it now, spots it and backs away. So Now PC419 are going to be a little bit more cautious of that as well.
Yeah, they are. And another key part to this is OJ. There he is. He's going to have to rotate to the other side of the shield. But he's even more pinched than previously. Deptra's managed to get a knife onto Vlad. Oh, he's just snuck up from behind, but Pun has refragged at least. So that's not going to put a massive hole into PC419's attack. OJ, oh, he looks keen to get aggressive on that doorway. Deciding against that. Going to bounce back. And it's just a matter of getting him out of meeting. And PC419 are going to be pretty set to be able to get this plant. And there's a pick on the Boydie as well.
Looking to refrag here. OJ getting aggressive, was actually getting pinched from all different angles there. Just manages to escape back in. Rigba, they are very separated right now. They'll still have the opportunity to play off of each other. What a shot from Rigba now. Holds long desk. If Steffi's not careful, he might be taken down here as well. Really nice spray control and transfer onto OJ.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
They might just be able to stick it now.
10 seconds to go.
Rigba opting to potentially try and pull him off the plant. My goodness, Rigba, nicely played. ROFLCOPTER securing a third round. And what was that? 2 versus 3? 2 versus 4?
I think 2v4. Yeah, I think it was a 2v4 brought back, but look, really well played from Rigba there. Just patient at the edge of long desk. And you pretty much know, I mean, it's always hard to read, right, whether you need to push a player planting in that final 10 seconds or hold back. But if you count it out and you know they're planting and they stick it for generally like more than 4 seconds, their mind's going to start thinking, I may as well stick this. It's only like another 3 seconds. And that's when you can really start to push. And I think it was just really well played from Rigba. Even the shots through the table, it pulled that player off plant. Yeah. And it tagged him low as well on top of that. So just perfectly executed. And ROFLCOPTER inching forward in this half right now. If they do manage to get the 4-2, I'm feeling like they might be able to get this map.
Definitely so. If they can start off on the right foot, I'm sure they'll end it on the right foot. I mean, I say that, but it didn't really didn't go too well for them on on Coastline. They were up 4-2 in that first half. So, you know, I'm a history man, and generally like to look at patterns. Right now, the pattern's not looking too favorably for them if we do finish 4-2. Of course, that's all memes and dreams.
10 seconds to insertion.
So PC419, really this map is quite vitally important for them and how they trek in this lower bracket final. You would hate to be headed to Cafe with the map down.
Yeah, again, yeah, I wouldn't be backing PC419 if that's the case. As I say always, you know, like, I'm happy to be proven wrong. This is just my conjecture and what I think might happen. I've been proven to be wrong with my predictions, so you know what, like, that might happen. But gut feeling tells me that that is unlikely to happen. And again, you never know what we've got in store on Cafe. It is a little bit of an unknown. It's like you said, Rob. We haven't seen a lot of either of these teams on Cafe, so it could be a little bit of a surprise.
I mean, at this point, either of these maps are anyone's. It really is open to their own interpretation. But ROFLCOPTER have certainly enjoyed keeping PC419 on their toes. This time opting not to really have a lot of roam-heavy presence, rather just showing face early and backing away. Looks like they will be happy to double down on site. Kaid to ensure there's no free walls to be opened, and Campo can just sit there and wait for them to try and burn through drones or try and face check him. Right now there's no pressure on him from that open garage, and he should be able to find the first kill on the shack, and he does. Backs away as well, scot-free, and that's a great start.
Yep, great start indeed. Shack not really working out too well on entry on this round either, but look, they have been able to get some pretty good vertical control here, but oh my gosh, if Deptra had just hit more of those shots, that could have been really deadly for Tesla, but he didn't. Now into a minute. They're starting to get, wow, this vertical control is insane. They're going to start to open this garage wall as well. So this is a good setup from PC419. But it's more than just a setup, right? You've got to be able to close out these rounds. Concussing a teammate is not a great way to do so.
No, definitely doesn't put you in good stead for the rest of the round. Oh my god, Vlad, that is gnarly. Deptra must have thought that was free and open for business. Not at all. Holy moly.
Attackers recovered the
Jeepers, that was a great shot from Vlad and good reaction. Now we've got it to a 3v3, 3v2 in fact, as one has been traded back, and now, oh my gosh, falling apart for PC419. All up to Tesla. He's got 10 seconds and not much to go in terms of trying to get this plane. He's just going to run around and maybe try and keep him guessing. They see it coming though, walks into the smoke and bullets. ROFLCOPTER take the half at 4-2.
Great signs from ROFLCOPTER that so far have looked the better of the two. And I can only say so far because we really have seen today especially the fact that every game is a tale of two halves. Sure, your defense may be strong. What does it look like when you head to your attacking half? And we're about to find out. The swapping of the sides, changing of the guards now. This is where we expect ROFLCOPTER to stand up strong. Assert their ability here. And that Thatcher could make very, very short work of that garage wall.
Yeah, Thatcher is definitely going to play a pretty key role in trying to get that wall open. And that wall can come open nice and early. Puts a lot of pressure in through defense. You never feel that comfortable rotating across the back of site there or through garage. So you often have to think about whether you flank back up through statue stairs or whether you flank up Visa. Or maybe you just hole up in like security and kitchen, but that always has its own risks. So it's always good to get garage wall open as soon as possible because it creates questions in the defense. It's not a matter of playing your strat as normal. You have to start thinking about the progress of the round. Like, yeah, do you flank? Do you sit there? It's important to be able to put that kind of pressure onto your opponents.
5 seconds left before insertion. Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Looks like it's spot on. And this looks like the exact same setup that we had seen from PC419 in what was their matchup against Ferox. And it seemed to have given Ferox a little bit of a hard time trying to get that wall open, but whether or not it's a similar, we'll find out shortly. And Steffi and co more happy to play on that roam game and ensure that Roffle are forced to back them out.
Progress in admin at least, but they've got Tesla to push into in meeting. Now he is playing there as the Malusi. Maybe the Banshees are there to hinder that push. Didn't quite see the placement. Actually, no, I think he's playing pretty much without utility. Gonna look to play aggressive at the doorway, maybe playing a sound cue. Deptra's gonna drone it and see that he's playing close. So that will probably make him second and guess that decision. He's getting support through long desk from Shaq, playing out of private bathroom. So this is going to be a bit of a double push through this doorway, it looks like. This grenade perfectly cooked right at the feet of Tesla. Deptra will just make light work, and now Shaq's just going to get out of there. He's going to walk into a line of sight, not capitalized, but ROFLCOPTER, they've started this attack well.
What a nade. What an absolute nade. That was cooked to perfection. And, I mean, you could see the panic on Tesla. On Tesla then. Deptra will be traded out. Wowzers. Talk about game of trades. Two apiece just as quick as you like, and a minute left. You no longer have the sledge to help on those vertical lines. Oh, and I just think he's pretty much missed that by a short while. That looks like it's gone now, Raven.
Yep, no, he's done well to clear both those electric claws at least. So they can start to get it open, but it's just been replaced by the looks of things there. On one side, at least. They will be able to get open the van side, which is just what you want open so you can try and move towards plan, but it doesn't allow you to cover it as well. So this has worked out well for PC419 here. Coming to this final 40 seconds, it's going to be a little bit tricky to protect against this execute from ROFLCOPTER.
That timing, I don't know whether that player was headed down yellow. It looks like he was. Pun just needs to be cautious. Shaq ensuring that the flank doesn't come in, and OJ falling. Not good news for ROFLCOPTER here. That is, however, they've been able to take down the Kaid that was holding from pipes, and now they've just got to try to worry about, realistically, Vlad, it's actually Shaq on the flank, and he's gone deep here. If he could find the kill on the Vlad, nope, not a chance for the 1v1. PC419. I will say, not convincingly, but they do win the round. And from that now, they force it back onto ROFLCOPTER.
I think it was Boydie on the Zofia. Honestly, if he had more HP, I think he would have won his engagement with Shaq. And that really could have just ended up shaping differently in that 2v1 situation. So, can go to show you, you're losing early round HP can come back to bite you in the late round engagements. So, ROFLCOPTER's lead now is getting eaten away. First round of the half goes to PC419. They're going to go to Archive Tellers themselves. So, really, this site's starting to be a solid rotation here.
Yeah, I know. How long can you call it off metaphor before it's, well, on meta?
Yeah, for real.
It's only so many times we can tell that story, and with more and more teams playing, I feel like every single time I've seen Consulate played in OS, or specifically in OCN, which I think was only twice, we definitely saw Archives. So more and more often it is, and that's all I really want to say about it at the moment. We know that the vertical control, depending on how you're deciding to hold, it can be quite important to at least keep admin for some short amount of time, try and force the attacking side to waste util. Looks like they may just opt for similar to what ROFLCOPTER did in that those C4s coming from underneath the ground. Wait and see.
Wait and see, indeed. PC419, of course, really trying to fight back here on defense. I think, based on that first round, I feel like this is still ROFLCOPTER's map to take. And look at that. Deptra gets the opening engagement onto Shaq again. I feel like Shaq has been really affected in early parts of the round. I mean, I can see here 3 of the opening deaths of this map have been Shaq, but even not opening deaths, I feel like he's also often been the second. He just really hasn't been able to get into this map that much.
I would say a run out, especially when you're looking at running out on meeting balcony, it is ambitious to say the very least. Deptra, no matter how low he may be, still a factor on the board here. He's checking with that Gemini as Boydie coming from behind to support that, and they have taken that top floor control. Obviously not fully in the knowledge of it just yet, but as they do drone, they will find Deptra. Wowzers. Actually, somewhat that gains a little bit more, more fortunate for the ROFLCOPTER side. A little bit more HP on their sledge.
Yeah, it did actually work out better for Deptra. So maybe not too bad. He's really not having much luck there with the sledgehammer, though. Just not finding the right spots. But they've got some really good control here through admin and copy room towards Tellers, and that is going to help them get towards where they need to be. They've been able to get another opening too, but it has been traded back by Steffi. There's another trade. You talked about the game of trades here, Manic. We are seeing it a lot, but Vlad's going to have to find 4 to save this round for PC419, and he's been spotted by the Ash, taken low, and closed out by Deptra. ROFLCOPTER, they answer back with their own round.
This is probably going to sound a little bit outrageous, but I actually don't mind that they tried to file in and retrade on that top floor, because had Campo not have held strong, I think Campo was the Ash. Whoever was the Ash and took that engagement from meeting, there you go, it was Campo, was on 20 HP. And should Steffi have been able to have converted that kill, all of a sudden, you lose meeting control, you've lost long desk control, your sledge is caught on 20 HP in admin. So I actually don't mind that call at all from PC419. It's a little bit, risk it for the biscuit kind of thing, but sometimes you got to make that call. And make that call they did. They backed themselves. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out. And now it will be ROFLCOPTER just edging their way ever so slightly toward the first map victory.
I agree with you about the decision making there, because if you think about it, like a big picture here, if you don't file up, what do? They're going to be down a man advantage with your opponents having really good vertical presence and a lot of time on the clock. So I mean, like, history tells you they're going to end up getting control of Visa and Tellers, and they try to play it in Tellers, and then because of the time and the man advantage, they'll kind of hunch you, and it's kind of low percentage that maybe you'll close the round out in a more passive way. So why not take the risk, like you said, file up, try and just refrag it out, and actually maybe you can regain vertical control. And even if you end up at, like, let's say 2v2, at least you got the vertical control again. So it's no more like a set thing. So I agree. I think the thought process from PC419 was really good there, but it just didn't work out, and that's just how it is sometimes.
Should I say something about cookies crumbling, and that's just the way it happens? Shaq, my goodness. Oh my word, you're going to give me a heart attack. Again, looking for that quick little peek on admin windows. Could have cost him his life. It doesn't, in fact, and now PC419 are going to keep quite a heavy admin side presence on this CEO defense.
Yeah, really wanting to stop the take of admin early from ROFLCOPTER. And look, it has. ROFLCOPTER would have easily been in admin right now if they hadn't put this early presence. They're having to re-drone it and just ensure their safety. Oh my gosh, they almost lined up to that guy in coffee room. That could have been devastating, but didn't hit the shots.
Oh man, that made me nervous watching all three players running around at the end of long desk trying to cover themselves. Whew. That's all right. And ROFLCOPTER, really, no matter how much presence was there from PC419, have dealt with it with somewhat a breath of ease. Boydie as well. Now, with established long vertical, not vertical, horizontal lines, can hold that rotate from meeting.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Jump out from Tesla, and he is going to get that kill onto Deptra, but it is refragged beautifully by Campo. So, again, just trades has been a really important cornerstone of this game. No one has been really able to get away with a whole lot. Like you said, there was a flawless round in round 2, but I think outside of that, so much of this has just really been... Oh my god, that was a sharp shot from Steffi.
What was that? Was that... Oh no, it was Vlad that hit the shot down on Spiral. But still, that's gnarly. Shaq has gone unnoticed there. Okay, this gets interesting. Campo with a quick trade on the pun now. If Shaq can still remain undetected, he might be able to swing. Nope, 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 nope. Sorry. I baited you all. See you later. Wipe off the face of this earth as ROFLCOPTER continue their dominant form in round number 9.
Look, that was a little creative from Shaq there. I wasn't too sure he was ever going to be able to get away with that. Speaking of getting away with it, Vlad, he needs to get away with 3 kills here because it is all up to him. He gets 1, though, onto Rigba. He's going to have to continue this pressure. He sees them rotate through meeting. He doesn't have the bullets available, misses the shots. OJ is going for this plant as he agresses down long desk. He's got the smoke babes, though, and he gashes out Campo. Totally doable right now. 1v1. He's trying to open this hole to see where Diffuser is. Knows it's in the corner. OJ, though, he's behind the desk, creeping around, catches Vlad off guard. ROFLCOPTER inch further towards match point.
I mean, what an attempt with a little bit the SMG-11, a 3 versus 1, dropping Campo so low on that rotate. The Gemini is taken out. You definitely have to give credit for the effort there. Should he have sat in the corner, Vlad with that shotgun would have been able to open up and all hell might have broken loose. Match point on map number 1 here, Consulate. PC419's map pick. This is not going well at all. Not the way I'm sure their story was attempted to be written, Raven.
No, certainly not. Look, we can wait and see. They can still, of course, bring this back. They've got 3 rounds to do so. But outside of that, Really feeling like this was an important map for them to win in terms of the series. But Cafe is going to bring some surprises. Could turn it around and bring it back to map 3. Let's wait and see whether that does come to fruition or not. But they've got 3 more rounds to push this to overtime at least. And Garage, look, they won Garage last time. It was round number 7. So 1 round at a time, maybe it starts here.
That's where it has to, right? Here and now.
10 seconds left before insertion.
1 pick, 1 kill, 1 round at a time.
5 seconds.
And you will find yourself back in it should you have the mentality to do so. It can be incredibly detrimental, however, to be down in such a deficit already on your map pick in a best-of-3 series, which will realistically determine whether you are going to fight for a spot in the Oceanic Nationals 2021 season. So, by no means easy breezy game.
You can stop worrying about grenades now.
Certainly not. So, looking like PC419 want to get aggressive early. Maybe just trying to shoot drones. I mean, not the kind of operators that you would get aggressive early with. Smoke and Kaid, you probably want to keep alive a bit later, especially Vlad on this smoke. And now, look, speaking of Vlad, he's having another good map for his team here. He's been playing really well the entire day. I'd probably say he's my MVP here for PC419 in general, but he has got a lot of work ahead of him, as do the entire team, to try and salvage this map and series. They're about to be an engagement here. Campo swinging around Statue Stairs. He goes in towards lobby, though, pretty much unaware that Vlad is on this flank. So Vlad may or may not commit to this, but Deptra has found that opening kill onto Tesla.
So not having much fun in that department. Not in the second half anyway. Oh, no. Oh, Camp, and we saw that as well. Campo, you poor bugger. Regardless, Vlad now trying to hold that line on Spiral Stairs. An engagement traded with nothing but mere damage. And on that, more the minute mark, surely Boydie catches off Shaq. And Campo dismissing Vlad, my word. Surely, Raven, this is not how we finish map number 1. Flawlessly done from ROFLCOPTER. It is 7-3, the victory. And we are now set for series point in the lower bracket final.
That was a very convincing win from ROFLCOPTER. I mean, there weren't many rounds that didn't feel like were theirs. They controlled the pace really well. They stepped up, and I think to finish it off flawless made an even bigger statement than just purely winning the map did. So I'm very concerned for PC419 now moving forward. I firmly believed that winning Consulate was going to be their winning condition for the entire series.
I will just say this. Every map we've played on Consulate, 3 maps in 3 series have all been won 7-3.
True.
Ah, that's great. That is just a great little statistic for you. Something that my brain sees as uniform, and it is beautiful. Just as that performance was in the first map, Raven. A great takeaway for ROFLCOPTER, nevertheless.
Yeah, it really is. PC4 map pick. I mean, like, it's one thing to win your opponent's map pick, but to win 7-3,
yep.
Great effort from ROFLCOPTER. And you heard it from Yoshi at the end of the last series that he put a lot of credit into ROFLCOPTER, that they played really well and they're a strong team. And look, they're proving very strong after map 1 here.
They certainly are. Map 1, done and dusted. Map 2 is up next. We're going to go to a short break, and on the other side, again the name, ROFLCOPTER might secure their final spot.
5 seconds. 10 seconds to go. Bomb located by attackers.
up seeing red. This is such a ghostly revelation. I may have fucked up all my chances. And we ain't sleeping on the floor again. We never sleeping on the floor again. For the ones who didn't make it out, for the ones that didn't see the life, for the ones that never cared, never gave a thought, found no happiness in that brand new car or the house you bought. I see you talking about the love you lost, and it was gone like way before you ever thought it was. Yeah, I took my time, no quick ones, quick run, quick got to get back there. Hot roads, I didn't think I'd come back fast, cause I was running round so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. This is such a ghostly revelation. I may have fucked up all my chances. Fucked up all my chances. I was running. And we are never feeling cold again. And we are never feeling cold again. But I can't act like it's easy. It's hard to preach. Cause I've been burning trees and watching fall. If we cannot breathe out, we go forward. Sure, I was searching for cure. Fishing a little wildlife. And when I'm low.
This could potentially be the end of our series, the end of our night, and the start of all the finals for tomorrow. We're in to the second map. We head to Cafe. ROFLCOPTER are 1-0 up, and there is a real feeling like they are going to be pushing on in the lower bracket final. Raven, the match that just was, it felt like PC419 really struggled to keep their toes in the game, if you will, their foot in the game.
Yeah, it did. It just felt like ROFLCOPTER really controlled the pace. They were never able to string any rounds back-to-back PC419. Their round wins were spread out, and even then, there was a couple of rounds where they managed to claw it back. I mean, Vlad got an almost clutch in a 1v2 situation, but still couldn't get it. Look, regardless, I just felt like ROFLCOPTER really had a lot of control on that map, which is a concern because it was PC419's pick. And I just think in the scheme of things, so important for them to have won that to be able to take the full series.
Look, to be fair, they did 3 times better than they did the last time they met on that map. It's of course
True.
just referencing the 7-1 loss they copped against ROFLCOPTER in the LPL season. For whatever reason, we've gone back there, and if it is their map pick, I think that is a misstep, and it is definitely something that we will probably question. As it is our job to make sure that we're crossing the T's for everyone at home as well. So now we head to Cafe, which has only been played once by these two teams on record that we can see, obviously, and that was PC419, and they managed to win that match. Now this is ROFLCOPTER's choice, so is this potentially something they've had up their sleeve for a while? Is this potentially something that they've been building towards? I think those are the questions that I'm really curious to have answered, Raven.
Yeah, look, potentially. Based again on both playstyles, I kind of feel like ROFLCOPTER will do well on this map. I honestly thought PC419 would do better on Consulate, but they really floundered and just, they struggled to keep things tight. So I think, again, that will probably continue on Cafe. I feel like ROFLCOPTER will win this. Not really confident enough to give a scoreline, but it just feels like it's inching towards a ROFLCOPTER 2-0 right now. And PC419, they are on the ropes.
Jeez, that is probably the best way to put it. They're down, but they're not out. One match stands between ROFLCOPTER and that lower bracket final. A potential chance at the Oceanic Nationals Season 21. And we head to Cafe that could potentially decide their fate. PC419 will start on the defensive side. And you have to hope they're going to start off on the right foot.
Yeah, they do need to come out of the gate swinging here, I'd say. They're on defense as well, so generally comfortable to start out on defense. That being said, I mean, they started Consulate on defense. No, they didn't. They started on attack. That's a lie. Regardless, they really need to start strong on Cafe. Not just for the fact they need to, of course, rack up the round count and try and win the map. It's just about a momentum and a mindset thing as well. Not only do you want ROFLCOPTER to continue to just run away with the series, you have to get yourselves back into it. You have to give yourself some kind of energy, something to, keep you going and get you ready to be able to go for the full 3 maps of BO3.
Yep. And that's it. It's the long legs. We said, literally, we just said that this matchup and the matchups prior to it were 100% going to be a slogfest. They were going to be the kind of maps that were marathons and not sprints, and the series have well and truly shown that. All 2 series prior to this have seen out 3 maps. Now, although the scoreline, I mean, they definitely weren't as close as what I think that the actual matches themselves were. It's definitely draining nevertheless, and on that, we could potentially be at the final line. It is going to be PC419 heading to the reading fireplace for now, and nothing too much of note, but you would have to expect with how monstrous ROFLCOPTER were on Consulate. Sorry, but it should be backed up here.
100%. And again, just to emphasize, I think it's just so important that PC419 start strong here. I can just see it. If ROFLCOPTER get the first attack, even the first 2, that's a dark place. Like, you're defending on Cafe, really struggle in your own map pick on Consulate. To lose the first opening defenses on Cafe would be not great. It really wouldn't be. So I think this is super critical right now, and a big indicator for where PC419 is at. If they struggle right now, I just feel like they potentially have lost the mental game, and that's hard to come back from.
And just a note from the match before, we didn't really get enough rounds. Like we just didn't go deep enough into the actual game to highlight these kind of points. But out of 10 rounds, ROFLCOPTER, this name is going to forever haunt me in my nightmares. ROFLCOPTER managed to open up with the 7 first kills. So like these are the kind of things that really we were saying at the game prior, giving you that comfort, giving you that ability to breathe a little bit easier from the get-go, seems to be working out for a lot of these teams. So on the back of that now, it is a bit of pressure on that eastern side window, and it's alleviated pretty quickly.
Yeah, so starting with the not normal site to start with, at least. But the beauty of Cafe is that generally all 4 of these sites are really easy to play. I don't know what you say, easy to play. People are comfortable defending on all 4 sites in Cafe usually, so you can usually start on any one of these. Right now, the entry has gone pretty successfully. The opening kill was to Shaq onto Rigbar, but they refragged back, they traded back, and again to highlight Consulate. Man, the trades were very significant on Consulate and probably played a part in how successful ROFLCOPTER were on the site in the end. Yeah. It is. It feels like at a pure gunfight level right now that ROFLCOPTER just so much more frequently coming out on top. And when I say gunfight, I don't mean like your ones. I'm talking about like a 2v2 little engagement, or just like a stack of trying to take a hallway. It just really feels like more often than not, again, not substantiated with stats, that ROFLCOPTER are on top in that regard. And right now with 45 seconds in this 3v3, PC419 is setting themselves up ready to deny. It hasn't had a big indicator exactly of where ROFLCOPTER are going to try and get this execute. Traditionally, you'll see somebody drop down towards reading, and here we go. Boydie is actually at the reading doorway, ready to potentially attack this plant.
Tempting they will. Campo might be able to support there. The smoke, it's not expanding far enough onto Boydie now. Campo could just sit back and hold, wait for it to go down, and that it does. Oh, nice trade from Tesla, though, to find that early pick. Boydie and Campo, partners in crime at this point. With Steffi down, it's all up to Tesla to make these plays. Look at this from Camp, coming all the way back from Fireplace now. It's going to be incredibly awkward for Tesla to bring this back into the realms of possibility, and he's trying to do so. He's trying to at least flush out one of the opening players. Steffi's gone down, so it is well and truly all on the shoulders of Tesla. Time is a-ticking, and you're not going to be able to get past Boydie. Round number 1 goes the way of ROFLCOPTER.
Just the small things that I think add up to not only losing rounds, but gonna go back to it, the mindset stuff. Just that smoke grenade, just a few centimeters too far to the right, didn't expand enough, like you said, to deny that plant. The planter was low HP as well, so it was gonna be a denial if it hit the mark, and it didn't. That's just these tiny things that cost you rounds, and then they ultimately will cost you maps and series. We emphasized the importance of ROFLCOPTER winning this initial opening round or two, and there we go. ROFLCOPTER 1 in the pocket.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Certainly gives you the room, the freedom, if you will, to lose 1 or 2 and not be under pump instantly. And the way ROFLCOPTER have played today, especially in this series, I think is going to highlight, if they can push through that lower bracket, what they may be able to achieve as a team in the Oceanic Nationals regular season, sorry. So
10 seconds left.
I would love to see this matchup. Either, you know, PC419 really gear up and get ready to go for what is this map and then over to Coastline, or have ROFLCOPTER really make a statement here and set their campaign off from the right foot.
Kitchen Bakery next. Rotating through. Looks like it's going to be an aggressive hold in towards Bakery as well. Tesla going to be playing that with Dormai, which is great because, of course, as you accumulate magnets as the rounds go by, it's going to be helpful to be able to continue to hold that. But geez, I'm still very concerned for PC419. They need to get a good entry. I mean, you brought up the entry stats about Consulate, and it feels the same. They got the opening kill in round 1. Shaq did manage to take out Rigba there on the Zofia, but they're never able to back it up. Trades are just too strong coming out of ROFLCOPTER. It never feels like PC419 are getting out to these comfortable man advantages.
Something I'm really curious to have a look at as a whole from their LPL season is how they've been able to continue to achieve these kind of trades. You know, even in the matchup against Rhythm, they were still looking quite similar. And in this occasion, it is Vlad that goes down nice and early. Campo, once again, compliments to the chef.
Yep. Opening kills. ROFLCOPTER, it's their thing at the moment. It's going to put a bit of pressure because that's a potential C4 not used. There was one that blew up earlier. I'm not sure if it was Vlad's or Pun might have had the C4 as well. Pun does have in her pockets. Actually, it was Vlad's C4 that was used. But regardless, this still puts PC419 at this man disadvantage. 2 minutes burnt up though, as ROFLCOPTER have obtained some vertical control. They're starting to open up this hatch in dining, and that's going to put pressure in through freezer. They haven't cleared out VIP and the lounge area, so that is probably the next phase in this attack here for ROFLCOPTER.
Oh, Shaq. It's none other than Shaq to try and re-aggress for PC419. There's no surprises there. He's going to rotate to red stairs. He'll be caught out by the air jab. And once again, it's just the alarm bells ringing for ROFLCOPTER. It might keep them at bay for now. They still have the VIP presence for PC419, but Boydie, well, making short work of pun in that. Steffi has quite a task ahead. One out on the double window. And one pushing from the freezer wall. Can't get much. And, oh, Raven. Oh, it's steamrolling.
Oh boy, ended up being a flawless. Ah, dear, ROFLCOPTER, they are just going so strongly right now. It feels like they're stepping it up as we go along here. That's the 5th round in a row, in fact, that ROFLCOPTER have won. They got the final 3 on Consulate. Now they've got the 2 opening on Cafe. I just think this is a really tough ask of PC419. It's a hard momentum game to swing. I think that's the challenge that's ahead of them right now. And it might only take 1 round. All you need is some kind of spark. If it's teammate hitting a clutch, teammate hitting an ace, or you get a flawless round, you know, something that just breaks that pattern so you can start to fight back. They need it desperately right now.
I mean, you definitely saw that in the game against Rhythm, where it was actually, funnily enough, ROFLCOPTER on the receiving end of just a couple of good rounds, right? We had that big opening attacking round from Rhythm, then backed up by that Drex 2v4 where he actually pulled out the 4K in a 1v3. I know that's a lot of words that I'm throwing at you there, but I think the point is just to reiterate what you're saying there, Raven, which is it really can come down to some individual performances that really give your team just that extra bit. And I would say that ROFLCOPTER have definitely kind of thrived in the situations where they're on a roll and where their teammates are going, for lack of a better word, ham.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep. So back up to top floor. No, this is the first time they defended top floor, which
first time.
I don't know whether this you could say is a criticism of PC419 or not, but I mean, it's traditionally the first pick. They didn't do that. They went for reading Fireplace. But I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be that critical of it because, to be honest, like I was saying earlier with Cafe, most teams are happy to flex through almost every site on Cafe. Generally pretty balanced map in terms of how the bomb sites pan out. But here we go. Like, I feel like if I was to say, yeah, like if there's a one site they should be winning, it's going to be top 4. And if this goes to be not only a 0-3 and they can't win this site, again, it's just kind of all adding up to the same conclusion, really.
I mean, I couldn't agree more on that statement. We've only got so much to go off, and if that's what we do have to go off, it is concerning, to say the very least. Shaq at the moment, you would feel as though he's caught, but okay. When you're caught like that, don't even worry about it. That's the second time this game already Shaq's opened up onto Rigbutt. Like Rigba's been quite quiet in the matchup for ROFLCOPTER today. Potentially just doing everything that is required of him. Oh, see you later. Absolutely domed. Shaq, what are you doing?
Jeez. Well, I mean, look, that's really big because that's probably the first time in a long time I think I've seen PC419 really string together 2 opening kills. So to credit to PC419, like they are really back against the wall right now. They're just not letting up. They're still playing like themselves, playing aggressive, really getting into the game how you would want them to. That's playing their style of Siege. So great job on Shaq there in particular. Bit of an individual effort to pull that one out and managed to get back in alive.
I think that's the bit that shocked me of all. Was like, yeah, sure, it's all good and well to be jumping out of the window and landing on that west balcony, but like ROFLCOPTER just weren't really interested in trying to force that fight. You could see Campo was looking for the engagement. And talking of engagements, OJ quickly dismissed, pun from behind, and Deptrop has had some pretty insane moments so far in the past 2 series, but that is too much to ask for. PC419, they put their first round on the board, and ironically enough, it is on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, it is. Look, they look strong in that. You could say it's the back of Shaq getting aggressive. And yeah, I mean, maybe you can't credit it all to that because it would have really destabilized the attack of ROFLCOPTER. But I think they look strong regardless, well backed up by his teammates. Pun did combine for a 1 kill there. Shaq ended up on the quad. Now they're getting back to reading, and look, if the only rounds that PC419 can win on their defense is bar cocktail, so be it. But they're going to be really in for a fight on their attacks.
Yeah. I feel like the general consensus of the OS cafe matches I've seen is like third floor and kitchen. Generally, you'd convert them more times than not, and then that kind of reading or mining, whichever one you decide to go to, your tertiary side, if you will. That's kind of like a side. That's like where the 4-2s come in, and so it could be very troubling for PC419 should they not be able to, like you're saying, at least connect those 2 rounds on the defensive side. And it's not all doom and gloom, and I don't like to, you know, be the Grim Reaper of any sorts, but you do just have to look at things as they are. And for PC419 right now, backs are up against the wall. As you said, Raven, they're on the ropes. ROFLCOPTER are looking for the southpaw.
Yeah, the old left-right good night, and that's something they were struggling to do in a round sense against Rhythm. Talked about it, you know, in map 3, map 2 as well, Clubhouse. They had a few rounds there that they should have been able to close out, and they didn't. And C4 missing the mark there, trying to be a little bit cheeky, but not being the case. And yeah, for ROFLCOPTER, to bring it back to the point we were saying, is the match feels like it's here for them to take right now. Like, it just seriously feels like they're in control, barring that last round. But outside of that, it just feels like ROFLCOPTER, it's here for them to win. It's just about capitalizing right now while they still have some momentum.
Yeah. You could see as well, as Shaq fell away, they had tried to clear out any ADSs on Cocktail or in Cocktail with those flashes, and Shaq had actually held onto them and then placed them after the fact. So if you start hearing them go off, you know exactly where they are. Rigbutt getting the intel on all the utility on the other side. And I think ROFLCOPTER are doing an exceptional job right now of burning through util.
Yeah, they're really on par for this take. I always say you generally want to give yourself just over a minute to clear out Cocktail, or once you've cleared out Cocktail, to give verticals. Oh, what a sharp shot from Campo onto Pun as he just... Oh my god, the reverse angle! You know, reverse card is played, and Shaq will get Campo on that drop. That was nasty.
Oh, I love that. And, like, I love that Shaq is still just... You can't even be mad at that Campo. That's great. I love that. I love that Shaq's even looking for more there, but so is Deptra, hungry like the wolf. He'll be fed like one well. And why am I not surprised to see Shaq over on the red stairs?
Yeah, he's doing his best bouncing cosplay, I'd say. Can't keep this man still all over the place and having a bit of a frag impact on top of it. Still running around. Oh, the engagement pillars doesn't work out in his favor though, and it's now really fallen apart for PC419. And there it is, OJ secures the round for ROFLCOPTER.
Swiftly shut down is probably the best way to interpret what has just happened there. And ROFLCOPTER seem to be running an absolute muck on Cafe. They are here, there, and everywhere. And you feel like sometimes the only thing that's giving PC419 a look in is the big Shaq daddy.
Yeah, look, he's having a good performance on this map, but Cafe is one of those maps where you seriously need like a solid team effort. Like, it's one of those maps that relies a lot more on coordination than others. So for example, Coastline is definitely a map where as an individual you could go off and you could swing that result. Cafe and Clubhouse I would use as good examples where that's not really the case. Like, you really need a couple of your teammates more than pulling their weight. Generally you want your whole team to, right? But you know, it can't be down to an individual. Everybody needs to start stepping up and really coordinate here. And if you look at the scoreboard, Shaq's on 6 kills, Tesla 2, Pun 1, and then you've got 2 donuts still with Vlad and Steffi. And the big concern for me on that is that Vlad has been so good for his team today. To see him kind of really not in the game at the moment on Cafe is,
10 seconds left.
yeah, a pretty big concern.
Yeah.
Or a big sad.
5 seconds
A
left.
big sad. A big upsetty spaghetti. Will we see
Locate and defuse a bomb.
James Bond? That's the real question. At the rate this is going, with the way ROFLCOPTER are playing, I wouldn't surprise if there'd be multiple players on PC419 with the big donut at the end of this. They've really come out to play, and I think that, you know, like, as much as I'm sitting here having a bit of a laugh at it, ROFLCOPTER are doing incredibly well. They are really ensuring that they grab that, you know, they're grabbing them by the scruff of the neck and just bullying them on Cafe right now.
And look, that's also a good point, because something that a lot of teams can be guilty of, and I mean even like at OCN level, other regions, I've seen it heaps. Teams can certainly be guilty of feeling comfortable they've got something in the bag and just not finishing it when it's there to finish. And sometimes that can be really deadly, because you can let your opponents in. All it takes, like I said, is a big clutch or a big round from somebody, or just stringing 1 or 2 rounds in a row, and that's how a comeback can start. And so what I like from ROFLCOPTER is it doesn't feel like they're letting up. They're really just pushing and pushing to close this out.
At the end of this round, just as an indication for that, I'd love to see the scoreboard once we're looking into the prep phase of next, because I think that would tell a very damning story as to what you're saying there, Raven, in that really PC419 are just, they're not even being given a chance, not even a look in this matchup. Shaq is the only player from what I've seen that's really been able to stand side by side to ROFLCOPTER. And a minute's gone right now, and we haven't seen a hell of a lot of action, if I'm being completely honest. I demand more.
Yeah, it's just the nature of this kitchen cooking site. You know, if you try to do this top-down clear, it takes ages. Like, it just seriously takes ages. If you're being thorough, to drone out the 2 floors that you need to get vertical presence onto kitchen cooking, and then clear utility to open walls, for example, takes a long time. Usually, yeah, the better part of 90 seconds to 2 minutes. That's basically what we've seen from ROFLCOPTER here. So now it's about them directing where are they going to do this execute. They want to drop freezer and push site. Usually you'll try to take that VIP dining, but that's still there. So PC419 do still have some really great positions left on this defense to try and repel this execute, but Deptra is going to get the opening for ROFLCOPTER.
Tesla just has not been really given a good look at in most of these games. Not really much to breathe. Boydie will manage to find a trade on the back of 2 PC419 kills. Deptra has been able to find the line, and unfortunately there's absolutely no way Boydie can stick that. Nor will Deptra be able to trade effectively enough, and PC419 convert the rounds. And time just running out for ROFLCOPTER there.
Yeah, that's a big round for PC419. Obviously, they lost it back in round 2. And up until that point, the only defense they've done successfully was bar Coxhale. And now that's where we're going. So this is a really important round, because ROFLCOPTER have felt like they have seriously controlled this first half. We've talked about that a lot. If PC419 can manage to sneak away with a 3-3 half, I think that's a really good result for them. It's something that they can definitely build from in their attacks.
Attackers need to
We'll have
locate
to,
and defuse.
like, they're going to have to build, right? They need a solid foundation, a nice layer of concrete on some firm, sturdy ground. Set their stumps in, and potentially they may be able to find themselves in a homely spirit in no time. But 2-4, I'm not confident enough that with the way ROFLCOPTER have shown their ability to adapt on the fly, I just don't see that being enough time or enough rounds to play with on their attacking side. So this is the one. This is the one, Raven. I agree.
I think also just ROFLCOPTER's defense style is it's something we said in the pre-show. I feel like they're just more suited to this map in general. And to me, that's even more indicated by the fact that PC419 banned Valkyrie. I think that's such a clear indicator that they were worried that ROFLCOPTER were going to try and run around, run out, jump out, you know, to try and play aggressive and elusive on defense. So that's also the concern here, is that PC419 haven't been able to build a buffer in this first half. And I mean, time will tell. ROFLCOPTER are yet to be seen how they go on defense. Deptra with another opening pick. That's going to take out Vlad on the Maestro. That's a solid pick to get in that first 45 seconds.
And Vlad really, I mean, you were saying it before, has been an instrumental part of PC419 throughout today's games, and I'm sure prior to as well. Going down will be a loss that's defensive side may not recover from right now. Pun on that's a flank and a half, and Campo kind of seems unawares to it. They're obviously still looking across that side, but Pun for the most part looks undetected, and the timing on that still might be able to find something. In fact, it's nothing but a couple of bullets in the face.
Yeah, after all that, Pun was the only one that took damage. Super unfortunate for him. He really missed the timing there by about a half a second of that player rotating from reading to dining. Would have had no idea. But it's what it is. Siege is certainly a game of timing. Shaq, speaking of timing, is timing his flank right now. He's just playing passive there around the red stairs. Some pretty good control now obtained by ROFLCOPTER. And something that's now standing out to me is they are not doing the traditional take. They are really doing an east solid clear. Good trades, and now solid man advantage, and in they go. Plant going down here, Manic.
Once again, trades just being as efficient as possible. Oh my god, Tesla! Gnarly shot on the Boydie out on the cocktail window. They'll look to reattempt this retake. The vertical lines established from Deptra. Couldn't imagine they'll be able to get past the shield. Hang on a second. Campo now stuck by himself, but Deptra more like Dep-Trap, because those vertical lines were a death sentence for anyone trying to cross.
Deptra just again having such a good impact for ROFLCOPTER. And that's them taking that half 4-2 now. This is looking like it's just a big mountain to climb for PC419. I believe, you know, if they can just get even the next 2 rounds in a row, bring us back to 4-4, I would say that's a great momentum swing, because ROFLCOPTER, while dropping 2 rounds in that first half, felt like they just had full control. So to be able to come back and get 2 against the grain, would give PC419 some energy, and, you know, just give them that belief that they can bring it back.
And it is really against the grain, isn't it? It's a great way you've put it there, Raven. There's just been so much friction each and every time for PC419 to win a round, win a gunfight. It just feels like every single time they've had an answer for something, ROFLCOPTER are quickly, you know, on the rebuttal, and the 2 rounds they've been able to get is definitely a testament to, you know, their mentality, not giving up and continuing to fight. So this is really a good opportunity for them to set the tone, set their mark on their attacking side. And with ROFLCOPTER going into reading, I believe that is,
5 seconds remaining.
It may catch PD419 off guard. I'm not going to say it's going to by any means, but bit of a taste of the own medicine.
Yeah, like you said, PC419, they did pick this site first for their half, way back in round 1. See whether it works out better for ROFLCOPTER as compared to PC419, because ROFLCOPTER did win this as attack in round 1. Right now, PC419 looking like they're going to do the old classic, you know, vertical clear, take through piano, take across the cocktail. So, as I said, the KPI, if you want to call it, the checklist part here, is to get this vertical control, clear out this entire top floor, and give yourself about a minute to use that vertical pressure to clear out the defense. That's what we're going to be aiming for.
Just to bring it from a super analytical point down to a dulled point, I do love the way the debris goes everywhere when Sledge smashes open the the hatches on top of the cafe. Anyway, you'll see it next time when you pay attention to it. Shaq holding a very deep line onto the cocktail balcony, and that drone obviously giving a fair bit of intel. Campo, that's Shaq down early, and Shaq has just been an absolute beast for PC419.
Yeah, big pick, taking off their entry as well, and now it's going to slow down their ability here to be able to push across, but doing a great job with using utility to still put pressure in towards Cocktail. They've still got a little bit of time to meet my pass mark, so to speak, in terms of what they need to do to have this pressure. But ROFLCOPTER, they haven't read into this bait at all. Campo, in fact, he hasn't read into anything other than getting the picks. He's got 2 for the round. And now 3 players remaining. PC419, they have a tall order out of them to be able to try and get this first attack.
At least they're given some intel, I guess. You got to take what you're given. Rather, no intel. Oh my god! What? That was gnarly, man. Rigba is like a shark
Rigba
in water. Oh my god. That was a gnarly finish to the round.
Yeah, that was that was brutal, that's for sure. And that's ROFLCOPTER going up to a 5-2 lead. Looking tougher and tougher. I mean, the toughest part about facing a team that's on 5 is that it's 1 round away from overtime. So it's no longer a matter of just catching up to win. It's catching up to force the overtime, and then you got to play the extra rounds to win the map. And it's just an extra layer of things to... You probably don't want to think about it, but it's an extra layer of pressure.
Yep. And we're seeing the identical rotation here for ROFLCOPTER, reading kitchen. The trifecta would have obviously be 3rd floor, which you would assume they'll go to next, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw a spanner in the works and just go to mining next for a laugh. They are, after all, in full... Well, they're in full control of this game. They're dictating the pace, they're opening the kills, they're stalling out PC419 when they need to. It just feels like they really have made the right calls at nearly every single turn. And I hate it because it sounds like this is the ROFLCOPTER show, you know? But I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It just is.
Yeah, look, it's tough when it's like that. I mean, Siege can be tricky because you can have a scoreline like this, for example, and sometimes the team that's down could be having a great game, just not getting the rounds. But right now, it's just a lot about the control that ROFLCOPTER's had. Like you said, their decision-making has been great, and I'm going to highlight their overall team play because really, it's come down to the fact that even when PC419 have been able to find openings, it's just consistently traded well by ROFLCOPTER. And
thank you, Observer.
To bring this back, oh my god, you and your sledge debris, mate. Oh yeah. What I was gonna say is to bring it back to the picture here. I mean, what are these teams fighting for? They're fighting for a spot in OCN for 2021. I just really think, given the way ROFLCOPTER's played in this series in particular, it shows that they have that fundamental down pat for that top level, which honestly, it's a tricky fundamental. It sounds basic, but it can be hard to pull off consistently.
Oh, Shaq, why? Again, it just doesn't surprise me. It just does not surprise me.
He said he bat fingered.
Oh, God. Oh, Shaq just... I'll tell you what, he's definitely got some character about him, at the very least. You can't knock him for that. And... okay. Now it's... I've lost my train of thought completely, but the fact of the matter is ROFLCOPTER, like you said, one away from sticking it to map point. Some good trades, in fact. Vlad's not letting them go down without a fight, and he might just be the savior, if you will.
This is the tough part, right? It's like I said, kitchen cooking, you take a lot of time clearing out those top 2 floors, and now it's time to put pressure vertically. They lost Tesla in that attempt, so now their best attempt at vertical pressure is going to come out of Steffi. Probably got bridge charges. Maybe we'll use his lifeline. Deptra stands right under one, so that's going to help a little bit. He's tagged very low. But time starts to really be your enemy on attack at this phase of kitchen cooking. So it could get a little hectic for PC419. It's going to come down to ROFLCOPTER's positioning.
That may be the opening that they're looking for there. I'm not wasting the time with little time remaining. There is no time to play with, Raven. And as it ticks down, these vertical lines will need to find them something. It's not, in fact, oh no, pun. It's taking him even longer to get into the site now. Only 5 seconds remain here. ROFLCOPTER, they're sitting tight. They're sitting pretty. Campo taking down pun. That is the bullet. That's the nail into the coffin. And there is no chance the PC419 could do anything about that. It's match point for ROFLCOPTER.
Yeah, now, I mean, it was already a mountain ahead of them, but now it's 4 rounds consecutively, and they haven't been able to get any on their attack so far. Bar Cocktail as well, as we were talking about in the first half. It's hard to argue what site is best on Cafe, but I think a lot of people would agree that Bar Cocktail is usually the more comfortable map to play. Site to play. So here we go. Let's see whether ROFLCOPTER can close it out 7-2 or the PC419 can start some comeback.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
It's... unfortunately, after... Let me just double check this. That is 4 rounds straight now that we've seen from ROFLCOPTER. It very much is the factor of almost, you know, beating a dead horse. It's there's only so many times we can talk about this without it sounding like we are really just like bandwagoning ROFLCOPTER, but the performance in this best of 3 in this series that has only made it to Cafe, it's only made it as far as Cafe, just remember that, really I think highlights what they could do if they are able to, you know, breeze into the Oceanic Nationals. Now, mind you, that means that either Ferox or Rhythm would have to miss out, and 6 in one, half a dozen in the other, I'd say, Raven.
Look, it's definitely going to make for an interesting day tomorrow, and of course, this map is not over yet. PC419 can still bring this back and push us to map 3. Feels like it's going to be a big task, but
you're too optimistic for me.
Maybe,
you ready? Watch.
They can do it.
You ready? Watch.
Pew!
Oh, jeez. Like, what is that?
Simple things, my friend. Simple things.
What are you trying to say?
Look, PC419, and I was going to bring up a factor that I haven't brought up, and I mean, that's the pressure again. Because now that match point is against them, like, this is their year next year. I mean, they want to be playing at that top flight. They want to be playing OCN. And they're 1 round away from that just not being a thing. And I've no doubt, it doesn't matter how strong a mentality you've got, it starts to creep into your mind. It probably already has in the last couple of rounds. Like, it's just how it is. So this is a real tough spot for PC419, but potentially could do it here. Let's see what they can do for this Bar Cocktail attack.
Boydie now on Pixel. It's Shaq that might try to contest, as Tesla just looks to probe a little bit further here. PC419 are just kind of holding on for dear life, trying to find the opening that might give them a good look in. A minute left, Raven. Have they done enough to start opening up this site?
certainly put some pressure on, and there we go. It falls their way. The opening kill to Vlad. He has taken out Campo, but it's, again, look, it's traded back. Haven't confirmed the kill, but Vlad has been downed. Looks like he's going to be able to crawl to safety, so not quite an effective trade, but close enough to it. And as time ticks away, that's where it starts to get a bit hairy, because you need to be confident you've given yourself enough control to get a plant down. Right now, I'm not so sure that's the case. Shaq, though, he gets depth shot. This is a great start to this attack and to set up and execute for PC419.
Oh, Rigba. That's what they're after. 20 seconds left. This might be everything standing between PC419, a third map, and potentially their opportunity to play in the Oceanic Nationals 2021. And Rigba is standing strong. Make that a double kill. Single-handedly holding onto the site right now is OJ and Bodhi. They're all off site. Oh my word, it's falling to pieces for PC419 and ROFLCOPTER. They'll knock them out of the promo relegations playoffs here, and they will proceed through to the lower bracket grand final.
Really well played on that round from ROFLCOPTER. They were down 2 men into that final execute and still managed to work around and bring it back. 7-3, 7-2 scoreline even on Cafe here. Yeah. Very, very strong for ROFLCOPTER and well deserved to be able to move forward. I'm really excited now for tomorrow.
Oh, it's shaping up to be a great day, Raven. The fact that ROFLCOPTER has shown such a dominant performance holds in high stead for what will be that lower bracket grand final once it is actually determined. It will either be Ferox or Rhythm, and you have the feeling that either team, it doesn't make a difference. We're going to see the full best of 3 to decide that one, because if that is anything to go off of, ROFLCOPTER are well and truly the best team that we have from our open qualifiers and LPL, to be honest.
Yeah, look, they're proving it yet again. I mean, LPL Pro, they seem like they're the best team through the regular season. They did bail out to Ferox in the playoffs of LPL, but that was around the prep for this. So, I mean, some people question that maybe they were just prepping hard for this and taking it easy. I don't know, hard to say. But regardless, they topped out open qualifiers as well. And here they are. They've triumphed over PC419. Yeah. They're the last remaining open qualifier team to have that chance to get into OCN. So yeah, like you said, I think they are the best foot forward here from all of those teams that were represented through open qualifiers.
And it's the perfect storyline for us. It makes it very simple and very easy, because not only have they put on a good performance against C419 just then, but likewise in their previous series, the one that went to the best of 3s, there were plenty of chances that they could have taken Clubhouse. Likewise when we went to Coastline. So this right now is going to make for an incredible lower bracket grand final. We actually have Deptra on the line, so let's have a chat with him. Let's dissect what's been an incredibly long day for you guys. I mean, I want to get your thoughts right now. Are you feeling gassed? That's 5 maps pretty much straight back to back to back.
Look, after the end of the best of 3, after losing to Rhythm, we were just pretty exhausted, to be completely honest. We didn't have much left in the tank, but I'm really proud of the boys for all coming together. You know, OJ gave us a bit of a pep talk, hyped everyone up. We got into gear, and we just started playing, and it all just started clicking together. So really proud of everyone for stepping up.
Look, I think you guys just put on such a solid effort. I mean, the big thing that stood out for me was refragging and trades. You guys were constantly there for each other, which is a clear reason why you guys got the dub. Constantly, look, it was a PC419 map pick. How did you feel when you saw that come out as their map pick? Did you feel like that maybe that was going to be a tough one for you guys?
Yeah, we knew PC were pretty good enough after beating Ferox earlier today, so we were a bit concerned. But we knew we were also pretty strong and confident because we prepared a lot for Rhythm on it. So we were pretty confident in our own ability to beat them on that, especially after we beat them in LPL pretty convincingly a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we're feeling all right going into that.
Now, I'd love to get your thoughts, actually, before I let Raven go for another question here. What has your prep been like leading up to the playoffs / relegations, promos, whatever you'd like to put it as? Because it looks like you guys are very well versed. And on the maps, honestly, even that game against Rhythm, you guys had plenty of chances to win that if it had not have been for some huge clutches on their behalf. So what's the prep been like coming into this?
Yeah, look, to be honest, we've been pretty flat out with prep. We've been screwing French every night we can, dry running and voting where else, like in our own time where we can. We've been prepping quite a few maps, trying to counter-strat the other teams where possible. It's a bit hard because there hasn't been many competitions as of late, so it's not as easy as we'd like. But we've just been focusing on our own game and working on our own weaknesses to improve them for the future. On Coastline earlier, we really struggled in closing out those 1v3s, those 2v5s we had. We threw a bunch of them. If we just got on top of those, then suddenly we're winning those games, and we don't need to go to this PC game.
Yeah, for sure. Raven, any final questions?
Look, I would love to hear, I'm going to put you on the spot. I would love to hear who you think you're going to be playing tomorrow. Who is going to lose or win, whichever way you look at it, out of Ferox and Rhythm?
Well, look, I'm not wearing this shirt for no reason. We're going to beat Ferox tomorrow.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Setting it up for glory. Well, Deptra, I must admit, you had a banging night of Siege. We were constantly highlighting a lot of your plays. So from us, the casters, to you, congratulations on your win. And we very much look forward to that lower bracket grand final tomorrow afternoon.
Cheers for the cast, guys. Look forward to watching it back.
No worries, mate. Beautiful. Alrighty. You know what? Very well-spoken player. It's he knew exactly what he was after.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to think back with it. I think that is Deptra's first interview that we've had back from when he even played before. But yeah, look, great insight from him, and it was it's cool to hear things like OJ giving them a pep talk, and then he agreed with some of the stuff that we'd brought up during the cast about Coastline, where they had so many situations that they could have closed out that they didn't. And they might not have been in this entire situation if that was the case. So look, I'm feeling their confidence going into tomorrow, and it does make me very excited because I'm sure that first series of the day is going to be tough, and then to have ROFLCOPTER to back it up in that lower final to battle for an OCN spot. Tell me what, that is exciting. What a way to bookend the season.
Oh mate, I could not be more excited. I mean, all right, maybe I could be a little bit more excited. There is the November Major after all in just a couple of days, but I must admit these matchups are going to be absolute bangers. There's nothing short of a way to put that. Ferox and Rhythm, you really honestly couldn't pick them. I would assume that Rhythm were always going to be the team that pushed through the upper bracket, but Ferox have shown their own throughout the season, and that could really make for such a great best of three. And then Raven, like you're saying, that ROFLCOPTER match, I don't think it matters who plays them. It is going to go to 3, and it is going to be a close competition.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I think the great thing now for ROFLCOPTER is they hadn't played Rhythm before. Now they have in an official, and they came really close. They've played Ferox a bunch of times through LPL, right? And even probably in scrims, I don't really know, but regardless, they've now got a pretty good gauge on both of those teams. Yeah. So they're going to be sitting there just waiting to see who they play. You heard that they feel like Rhythm's going to take the dub, and so they'll be playing Ferox. Guess we'll wait and see how it turns out, but I'd be really excited for that, to be honest. The Ferox ROFLCOPTER match would be really, really fun. Especially
after what we know to be that it would be a rematch of the semi-final from everything, and from LPL, from every tournament ever. No, I think that it's building up to be an incredibly strong storyline between those two teams, and it's a great rivalry which I hope continues on into the future. ROFLCOPTER, though, my word. They've made statements today, and it's the exact statements that we needed. But Raven, do you know how excited I am tomorrow to have tricasts?
Yes, I am super excited for tomorrow. Look, we'll let it out of the bag. I mean, it's been spoken about a little bit, but Dev Martin is joining us tomorrow, and he's going to be casting with both of our duos. So he'll be casting with Guz and Xenox for that first BO3, the upper final, and then he'll join you and I for the lower final. So it's going to be really exciting. First time we've all tried it.
I know, a tricast on Siege in OS. We cannot wait. We also cannot wait for all the matches that will be tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for you tonight. We are going to be back at 3 p.m. tomorrow, so make sure you tune in, get your rest, take care.
that you feel the same. Baby, I got nothing to do. You're talking about your best at me. Remember that you always get to choose. Talk to me, I just want a little bit of company. You're acting like you really wanna fall for me. Baby, can you tell me who you wanna be? You're not talking to me, I just want a little bit of company. You're acting like you really wanna fall for me. But baby, can you tell me who you wanna be? Yeah.
Attackers have recovered their diffusers.
Yeah, I guess you got my intention. Got no place I'd rather be if you're like another dimension. I don't wanna talk, baby, you should let it go. I don't wanna go.